Okay, for this sales role play, I'm going to be playing the role of Tony Suarez, but it can be myself, so it can be girl Caitlin. And then Ben is going to play my sales manager, coaching me.
Alejandro with a J.
Sure, go for that. And then Corey and Sam are going to be the observers for this sales scenario. So since I am the salesperson, I'm going to take over the role as being defensive, which basically means I will tactically defend and justify any sales techniques used or offset corrective solutions or suggestions for improvement that the sales manager makes. I'm not supposed to overdo it, of course, but try to defend myself on at least one of the knowledge or skills that changes that Ben will suggest to me.
So then, as a manager, I'm going to reinforce and positive behavior. I'm going to lead self-discovery, give feedback, provide practice, and get commitment.
So basically for this scenario, Ben is going to try and rescue me on a sales call, but defers it to see if I can learn from it. And then I did not uncover the needs of my prospect before the presentation. My presentation went okay, so probably not very good. It did not sufficiently present the solution. It was too much future-oriented. I also responded to an objection poorly. And at the conclusion, it seemed that I almost didn't really care to get the order and certainly didn't persist when the customer said, "Looks great to me, Tony. I'm not sure if we're ready to move on right now, but let me give it some thought. We'll certainly consider it."
Okay, so I'm going to be sitting in my office and Caitlin is going to come in and we're going to talk. Come in!
Hi Ben, how are you today?
Oh, hi Caitlin. Here, I'll give you one of these because we want to stay healthy. Don't get coronavirus. Exactly. So, I heard that you were on a sales call today, and it didn't necessarily go the way you thought it would. Can I hear a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I didn't think it went that bad. Like I thought it went it's pretty okay. I definitely could have done better, but I thought I was able to uncover the needs of my prospect, kind of figure out what they really need, because definitely selling a technology product, trying to focus on the product features a lot, so.
Okay. Did you, so like kind of when you were presenting the solution, did you think that you like really talked about their need, or were you more feature oriented?
I mean, I don't know, I think it's a kind of hard thing about when you're selling like one specific technology to kind of get as many things with a feature kind of like in their heads so they kind of know everything about it, especially because they're pretty complicated. I don't know, I thought I did a pretty fine job of doing that.
Okay, how do you think you closed? Because I know you like ended up not getting a sale, but like what was that conversation at the end?
Well, they said that they weren't like against it, but they weren't like exactly like closing the deal. So I don't know, didn't think it was that bad, but did not 100% get the sale.
Okay. So I mean, it's awesome that you went there. I mean, it was a really big client too, so I'm really proud that you're actually able to get one of those meetings. I would just like to really talk about how you're conducting your questions when you're actually trying to uncover needs.
Yeah.
The last call that we went on a couple weeks ago, I felt that you were asking good questions, but I don't know if you were really asking like the right questions.
Right.
Yeah, so kind of like to talk about that. Like, what questions do you usually ask when you're trying to uncover needs?
I like to start off like what competitors are you guys looking at.
Okay.
I like to see who else is in the realms a lot of big tech competition, especially in the Seattle area and living here.
Okay.
So I start off with that, kind of try to figure out exactly what they're looking for in a product.
Okay.
Kind of why I kind of focus on the features of a product a little bit more. But I didn't ever think that my questions were like necessarily bad. I thought they always kind of made sense with what my prospect was looking for.
Okay. Did you kind of ask them about how important the issues that they were facing were? Did you ask if they had issues?
No, I guess I didn't really ask if I had that many issues, but I don't know. I feel like I am still offering correct suggestions.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's kind of one thing that we could really talk about is those types of questions and how you can kind of like structure asking questions within your meeting. So I think you do a really great job of like understanding the customer in the background.
Thank you, I know.
But okay. But really getting into like exactly those needs. Like, I mean, you can say like, what are the top 3 problems that you have at your company, and then just by like starting off that conversation, I mean, you can be blunt with it. Like, you guys are both there to figure out if you guys can work together. It's a two-way street, especially kind of within selling these days. We've been really focusing on building connections with our customers, so there's no need to hide.
And building a relationship, right?
Yeah, exactly. Another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was the objections. Why do you think, what was their objection really?
A huge thing about them was like the no need, and they didn't think that they quite needed the technology yet.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get past that, and I know that's a pretty hard objection to get past. So it doesn't
Really?
surprise me that I wasn't able to really get past that.
Okay. So, yeah, did you really try to meet their objection? I mean, kind of like from what we were talking about, I don't think you really went into those deep understanding.
I guess I kind of tried to, but it was definitely pretty difficult because I would ask them like, oh, like, do you see yourself like needing this product in the future? And they're like, oh no, I don't think right now is the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I try to get into a little bit more, and then it kind of was the circle like, oh, I don't think I need it again. So it kind of got really repetitive for me, and I was kind of over it. So
Okay. Do you think that you could have done something differently, like better?
I think I could have presented maybe the solution in a different way, or maybe tried a little bit harder to figure out exactly how the solution would benefit them in the long run, especially for like long-term ROI, because it's a technology product. So
Yeah.
definitely a big investment to try to figure out how that would satisfy them in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's good that you kind of see that, but I think that kind of stems from are the questions in the beginning of the presentation that are like uncovering those needs. You didn't necessarily really figure out those needs, and so when the objection came at the end of the call, it was a lot harder for you to back it up or to handle that objection. So
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think next time if and I'll shoot you over like a list of questions.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
A lot of questions that I use like almost every time. That will kind of like help you gauge maybe your script or to stimulate some like other questions that you can ask, and then I mean making sure you like really hit on those and like write them down and go talk to that objection. What time are we at? 7. Okay, well, so I think this meeting went really well. I think it went back and forth a little bit. I like with the questions I sent you, I'd love for you to like go over them and then maybe come in and like give me some feedback or.
Yeah.
What? That's what I'm doing. I'm getting commitment right now. Oh, well.
I actually have a question for you. So, do you think it'd be an appropriate time to give them maybe like a email or a call back, like within like a reasonable time? Like, do you think that you could go over what I should like be asking them in the next sales call?
So what were you doing?
Provide practice.
Oh, provide. Yeah. You should do that. You should do that.
So, do you want to?
Wait, so am I supposed to?
Do you want? Do you want to pretend to ask questions to me, maybe as a?
Oh, should I ask questions right now?
Can I use you as?
Yes.
The sales
Yes.
person? Yeah, okay.
There we go.
Okay, so you're gonna say that you. So let's say in my situation, so my prospect said that they didn't think that they need my product. That's their objection. I would be. Is there any other like covering any other needs that you guys would like to address, or like what do you think I should say about that? Type of
I think you could like kind of go back and say, so, well, yeah. I think that's fine. Do you have any more?
I can't remember from 335.
Yeah. Well, one more then.
30 more seconds.
Okay. Well, maybe you could ask me some other questions.
What is for your guys' firm in the long run? What is something that you guys are really focusing on trying to bring for customer engagement?
For customer engagement, yeah, we're really trying to focus on actually bringing the customers into our office. So, like with your solution, that like sends out automatic emails. That is like something that we're really looking for. But yeah, I don't know if we have the budget to spend on that.
Can we maybe discuss more about the benefits of my product versus the cost and how that will actually overweigh over time in the future?
I'd love to.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Go over feedback.
yeah, so now we're gonna go over feedback. A little rough there for a little bit, but we're still here.
We definitely had a rough patch. We'll get to that towards the end. So starting the presentation, I think that Ben did a really good job at going over the positives, like the benefits of having Caitlin as a salesperson. You were asking questions. One of your statements was that she was asking good questions, just not the right ones. So telling her that she was doing a good job at making well thought out questions, just not necessarily the ones that were helping to uncover the issues. I would say though that at the beginning when she first walked in, there was a little bit of like the negative energy, which might lead to the salesperson being a little bit defensive. So I think starting a little bit more positively on that end. I can just go through mine first if you want.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to do this and then we do these and then this?
Sure. So self-discovery, in that section, I think Ben did a really good job.